Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, I use an inspiring quote. Today it's from Tertullian, who says, "Hope is patience with the lamp lit." I love this because I've never quite thought about hope in this way, but it does take a whole lot of patience, doesn't it? You're holding out hope that something good is going to happen. A great scripture that goes right along with this quote is Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. Oh, I love that. Sometimes it's hope that gets us through a really tough situation. It's believing in what God said. He's not going to leave me. He's not going to forsake me. He's going to see me through to the other side. I took it a step further and I just looked up the definition of hope. And I love this. To cherish a desire with anticipation. To want something to happen or be true. I know you have a lot of things that you're hoping for in your life right now. And my message to you is stay patient and keep that hope alive. You're going to see it. I believe it. How about you? Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm so glad I get to do life with you. So it's been on your mind for a while. You haven't really known how to bring it up in conversation, but you're ready to make more money at work. You need a little bump. Hey, got some expert advice for you right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. So stick around. I think you're going to love this.
How do I start a difficult conversation regarding pay? Somebody comes in and says, I deserve this amount and these are the reasons why. Or, look how hard I've been working, I deserve money. And very often they put a number out there. When that happens, it's backing somebody into a corner. In other words, they're setting up a yes or no, which is very difficult. What I find is way more productive is to talk to somebody and say, may I talk to you about my pay? May I talk to you about my compensation? Like, set it up, because conversations about money are often very uncomfortable. So you're setting up an uncomfortable conversation. You can have numbers in your mind of what you'd like to achieve. That's totally fine. But what you want to do is create a dialogue. And very often these conversations go south because they become a demand rather than a dialogue. They become something that is proposed as a yes or no. And it becomes much more heated and much more emotional. So give it a try. Try and make it a dialogue where you can have a conversation about how to get on a path to get more compensation in the short, medium, and long term.
I really wish I would have known this advice early on in my career. I remember I was working at Jacksonville State at the TV station there, Channel 24, and I was getting ready to get married, right? Me and Cassie were about ready to tie the knot, and I knew I needed more income to support our family because my wife, well, she didn't quite have a prospect of a job yet, and I knew I'd be having to provide. So I asked my boss about some more money, and that conversation went south quick. Oh my goodness. That's what led me to kind of reach out and find other job opportunities because I figured out there was no room for advancement. But later on, it's funny, hindsight's 20/20, right? So as I moved on, started working at Channel 31 in Huntsville, well, I got the opportunity to reach back out to one of the other bosses from Channel 24. And when I talked with Mickey, well, he told me, hey, we've got this job opening. Wonder if you'd be interested in it. And he was ready to really offer me some good stuff. I mean, great benefits, great pay to come back to Jacksonville. And that's what let me know that if I had approached that conversation differently way back then, well, I wouldn't have had to move. I would have been able to just stay where I was. It's one of those things. It's like, if I had just known how to finesse that conversation just a little better, I might have been able to stay where I loved being. I wouldn't have had to make this huge change. And then on top of all that, I mean, I'm looking at my life now. It's like, hey, I'd rather not have it any other way. I'm here now. I'm at 88.5. So, hey, here we go. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, if I'd have had that advice back then, things could have looked a lot differently. But hey, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'd rather be here with you. And that's not a loss by any stretch of the imagination. I found where I'm supposed to be. So thank you for hanging out with me right here on the Lifeline Morning Show podcast. Okay, a little behind the scenes programming information. I'm getting ready to interview this lady right here. Her name is Rachel Lampa. The name of the song is Somebody to You. Now, I remember listening to Rachel when I was in junior college. She went away for a while, and now she's back. I've got a lot of questions for her. Be listening for that interview in the coming weeks.
They say you're only as good as your last success, and failure's not an option.
The big question is, what makes you happy? Here are just a few words, a tease for what I'm getting ready to share with you. See what you think about this.
What we've done is we've pushed happiness over the cognitive horizon as a society. And that's because we think we have to be successful, then we'll be happier.
So, we're going to find out what actually makes you happy, because that was not the way to do it. Stick around, you're going to love this. Sean is somewhat of an expert when it comes to happiness, and I'm so glad I got a hold of this clip, because so many times we look at happiness through the wrong lens. Here, let me explain to you. Well, let me just let Sean explain it to you. Here's a little portion of his TED Talk that talks all about how we really find happiness.
In the past 3 years, I've traveled to 45 different countries, working with schools and companies in the midst of an economic downturn. And what I found is that most companies and schools follow a formula for success, which is this: if I work harder, I'll be more successful. And if I'm more successful, then I'll be happier. That undergirds most of our parenting styles, our managing styles, the way that we motivate our behavior. And the problem is, it's scientifically broken and backwards for two reasons. First, every time your brain has a success, you just change the goalpost of what success looked like. You got good grades, now you have to get better grades. You got into a good school, now you have to get a better school. You got a good job, now you have to get a better job. You hit your sales target, we're going to change your sales target. And if happiness is on the opposite side of success, your brain never gets there. What we've done is we've pushed happiness over the cognitive horizon as a society. And that's because we think we have to be successful, then we'll be happier. But the real problem is our brains work in the opposite order. If you can raise somebody's level of positivity in the present, then their brain experiences what we now call a happiness advantage, which is your brain at positive performs significantly better than it does at negative, neutral, or stressed.
And with that happiness advantage, your intelligence rises, your creativity rises, your energy level rises. So many great things happen when you're happy. But how do you get happy? Well, here are some pieces of his advice. He says, take 2 minutes every day and do one of these following things. 1, write down 3 new things that you're grateful for. Seems simple enough, right? Number 2, journal about one positive experience you've had in the last 24 hours. That's great. Number 3, try meditation or prayer to teach your brain to focus. And number 4, use the first email you write every day to praise or thank someone you know. Spread the happy. And it wouldn't hurt to disrupt the endless barrage of bad news by sharing this with your friends, right? Everyone needs a little more happiness. So I'm so glad we came across that, because we can really be happy in the present. We don't have to have that next promotion. We don't have to have that new car. We don't have to have that new house. We don't have to keep looking for the stuff. We can be happy right here where we are. Yeah, there's happiness, and then there's something a little more strong than happiness, and that is joy. And you can find that in Christ. I'm so thankful for that. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. You're on the Lifeline Morning Show. I love looking at this world and this life through the lens of Christ and what he means to us. And that's what we're called to do. So how can you spread the happy, and how can you find your happy today? Do it. It's going to change your life. Now your word of life. Today it comes to you from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Yeah, you're a lot more patient with somebody if you love them. So how can you apply this scripture to your life today? Why don't you share it with somebody? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials and at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Well, I got the story of a $1 bill coming up here on the show. I think you're going to absolutely love. So stick around. Get your tissue ready, because I got a story coming up. Might just bring a tear to your eye. Or if you don't have any tissues in the car, reach into the console, get some of those unused fast food napkins that you keep in there for occasions like this. Yeah, get ready, because this question, what's the most $1 has ever gotten you? It's pretty emotional. Stick around. How much will $1 get you these days? Not a whole lot, right? Yeah, I know it's weird. Especially like when you go to the gas station. Try to get a candy bar for $1. That's not happening. Other stuff there, maybe a pack of gum. And that's like the 5-pack Wrigley. That's it. It's crazy how it's worked this way. I remember when I was a kid, that $1 stretched a whole lot further. But you know what? came across this story. This question was asked over on Reddit, and it's the answer that really got my attention. So here it is. What is the most a dollar has ever gotten you? To which this guy responded, a wife, 3 beautiful children, and frankly, my life as I know it. And here's the story. Back in junior high, he says, I liked a girl and flirted with her quite a bit. One time, during a band trip, we stopped at a gas station and she bought me a pack of gum. I tried to pay her back $1, but she refused. So I slipped that dollar in her pocket. She then slipped that dollar in my backpack, and so began the back and forth with the $1 bill. We found silly ways to give it back and forth. I mailed it to her house. She stuffed it in a gum wrapper and offered me a piece. I then decided that I would ask her out on this $1 bill. I wrote, will you go out with me on it? And put it in a note and gave it to her. And she wrote, yes. About 4 years later, I still had the same dollar kept away. On our anniversary, I wrote, will you marry me? On the bottom of that $1 bill. We've been married for 15 years now and have 3 awesome kids. We still have that dollar stored away. Oh, wow. A $1 bill has played such a significant role in this couple's life. I think it's awesome. And he since came back after all these comments. So many people just singing the praise, saying this is the best story on this thread. Agree, could be the basis for a cute movie script. Like the movie would be called The Lovely Bill. It's an adorable story that really stretches a long way. Well, since this story went viral, this couple decided to frame this $1 bill, put it on their wall, surrounded by pictures of their family and all of the life that they've lived thus far. How cool is that? That $1 bill, well, it brought a lot to his life, didn't it? Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm glad to share some good news with you. So we're almost all back to school now. I know Coleman County, some of their kids are starting today. Other systems starting today, but I'm going to wait before I start this car line competition. I want to make sure everybody is in school and ready to go. So keep it tuned here every weekday morning. Who knows? We might start this thing tomorrow. I'm just saying. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Though we're not starting the car line competition today, I did want to remind you that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, somebody's going to have the chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Lake Winnepesaukah. That's right. We're still giving away water park passes through the month of August. So all you kids in the car line, go ahead, remind your parents, hey, call in at 8 o'clock. Try to guess the riddle and win this family 4-pack so we can go to the water park. All right, this coming up, like I said, at the top of the hour. Big thank you to Lake Winnie for partnering with us for that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. You mean an awful lot to me. I hope you know that. This time of the year is full of sports, but I don't have to tell you that. You already know, right? You've been taking your kid to practice for the past, month and a half now? That could be volleyball or maybe football. You know, I was just watching TV this morning and I saw where they're going to have baseball in America on Saturday night on one of the major networks, right? So baseball is happening. We just found out what happened with the women's team with the World Cup, and that was a bummer, of course. But we've got soccer, you've got all the other sports. But there's one sport that reigns supreme here in the South. And to help me tell you what that is, as if you really need any help knowing what I'm talking about, here's just a little sample. Oh yeah! It's college football Saturdays. And I feel sorry for anybody who has a birthday party scheduled during this time of the year because, that attendance is just going to be down. That's the way it is here in the South. It's an unwritten rule. But I'm not the only one who knows that. You see, Justin knows it too. I'm going to let him tell you a little more about this unwritten rule.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I feel like it needs to be said, and I keep it 100, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We're only 25 days away from the college football season, and if you're planning on having your wedding on a Saturday in the fall, and you're thinking about inviting me, save the money on postage, I'm not coming. And it's not that I can't come, it's that I don't want to come, okay? And that's not on me, that's on you. I think it's absolutely absurd, irresponsible, and just downright selfish that you would ask all your loved ones to give up their college football Saturday just to come watch you get hitched, eat some cake, and then drive away in a car with shoe polish on the back window.
So there you go. I mean, it's just the way it is. It shouldn't be that way, but yeah, it's rough. So heed that warning right there. You don't want to have your wedding on a Saturday in the fall here in the South. I'm just saying. All right. More great music headed your way. How about some Bethel music with Take Courage right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I absolutely love that we have listeners who are intrigued by the breaks, the things that I talk about here on the radio. And in fact, I've had 2 listeners reach out and ask me about some content that I shared here on the show a while back. It's from Kelly K Ministries. It's a really impactful little segment talking about how we should be sharing the gospel and how we shouldn't be doing other things. It's a really cool clip. So now I've had 2 people reach out and say, hey, who was that? So I said, I'd be glad to send you that info. Let me email it to you. So just to let you know, I'm here. When you email me, you call the station, you get me. You DM me over on the socials, like at any of our socials here at the radio station, that comes straight to me. So yeah, I'm glad to answer any questions that you have, take song requests, all that. I'm here for you because you're the reason why we're here in the first place. I just wanted to say thanks for listening. It means a lot, especially when we get that interaction. Hey, a great way to stay weather aware is by putting that WAFF 48 First Alert weather app on your smartphone. That way you can stay in the know, keep yourself safe and your family safe. And it's pretty cool because Brad's voice just pops up and tells you what's going on. That's a WAFF 48 First Alert weather app. Right now across North Alabama, it's pretty mild. We are sitting at 72 degrees in Gunnersville. It's 67 in Boaz and Arab, 70 right now in Huntsville. And your forecast is brought to you by Green Contracting LLC, making your dream home a reality. Their phone number is 256-302-0644. Now your word of life. Today from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. That's right. You're going to treat somebody a little differently if you love them. And we are called to love. So how are you going to apply this verse to your life? I'll tell you what, you can share it with somebody. We've got it ready for you across all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. That's again from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. And on our website, you can click that On Now button and listen to us from wherever you happen to be. Whenever you're away from your radio or outside of our listening area, it's real easy to do that. And right now, we've got some listeners down in Palm Coast, Florida. Let's see. I got Joel Modis hanging out with us right now. Hope you're having a great morning so far, sir. We've got some listeners in Helsinki, Finland, as well as Birmingham, Alabama, and over in Arab and right here in Gunnersville. I think Savannah is listening to us right now. Thanks for making us part of your day. And whether you're listening to us on the stream or the radio, just want to make sure you understand. We're thankful for you. You're the reason why we're here. All right, tell you what, coming up here at the top of the hour, I'm going to have a chance for somebody to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Lake Winnepesaukah. It's an amusement park, it's a water park, it's Lake Winnie Wednesday, and it's going to take you solving a riddle to make that happen. I've been working on it. I think you're really going to love it. We're going to have some fun with it coming up at the top of the hour, so be ready to call in, okay? All right, more great music headed your way right now. I've got John Reddick and I Believe It right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I saw somebody just pop on over in Reno County, Kansas. Thank you for making us part of your day this morning. What we see as a mistake may actually just be a setup. Here, there's a little more of what I'm talking about.
Wow, something pretty awesome just happened. So after leaving the gym, I stopped at the grocery store right around the corner from my house to pick up some stuff because I'm making my mom dinner tonight. And the cashier recognized me, I guess from all the times that I was here before I moved. And she made a comment like, I haven't seen you in a while. And I told her, well, I live on the West Coast now. She was like, oh, what brought you out there? And I told her, well, the short version is God called me out there. And she was like, oh, that's nice. And then the bag boy brought up some Bible verse and I was like, amen. And then at that time, one of the items that I was buying did not ring up for the sale price. So the bag boy went to go check the price, and then the cashier asked me if she could like put a hold on my item so that way she can ring up the next lady. I said, sure. So while I'm waiting, I'm kind of talking to the cashier a little bit more, and then the bag boy comes back and confirms that it was on sale. And then she goes to finish ringing me up. Well, after I paid, there was only one bag, and I got like 3 bags worth of stuff, and I'm like, where's the rest of it? Well, the bag boy accidentally put 2 of my bags in the lady's cart who they just got done checking out. So I ran out into the parking lot and I found the lady and I said, excuse me. And when we made eye contact, it was weird in the moment because it was almost like she was excited to see me. And then I found out why. She said, young man, I heard everything that you were saying. This is a godsend because I love the Lord so much and I just got out of the hospital because I had a heart attack. And I'm like, oh, I was like, well, can I say a prayer for you? She's like, oh, thank you, Jesus. She's like, I've been praying for people all day that I've seen. And now the Lord sends you to me to say a prayer for me. But that wasn't all that happened because for about the next 15 minutes, I'm pouring into this lady about something that I was just reading in scripture that I just posted a video about an hour ago. And she started crying. She had tears streaming down her face. And there was a lot that was said. The Lord gave me a word of knowledge about something specific in her life. And she was like, I don't know how you just knew that. And I told her it was the Holy Spirit. And then I eventually prayed for her. And it was a long Holy Spirit led prayer. And she was sobbing. She had tears streaming down her face. And I gave her a big hug. And I told her to gather herself for a minute before she started to drive off because she was shaken up, but in a good way. And she's like, oh no, my girlfriend's waiting for me in the car. So not only did I get to pray for this woman and plant a seed in the cashier and the bag boy, but also for her friend who definitely just saw me praying for her. And this woman, whose name is Pamela, used to be addicted to crack, lived in a crack house. She was in a toxic marriage for 23 years, and she just got out of the hospital after having a massive heart attack. And look at how the Lord divinely set up this appointment so that I could speak to her today. Man, please join me in prayer for Miss Pamela.
Well, fancy seeing you here. Did you know it's Lake Winnie Wednesday? That's right, it's your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Lake Winnepesaukah. It's an amusement park, a water park, all of that together. And who knows, you might be taking your family. If you can answer my riddle, that is. So, how hard is this riddle gonna be? It's not too hard, but here we go. All right, so I know you're out there on the road, right? And sometimes it's easy to get road rage. And when you come up to a stop sign, for instance, and you stop first, well, then it's your chance to go first, right? But here's the deal. Here's where the riddle comes in. 4 cars come to a 4-way stop, each coming from a different direction. They can't decide who got there first, so they all go forward at the same time. All 4 cars go, but none crash into each other. How is this possible? The number to call, 256-505-0885. I'm waiting on your call right now. I'm going to say the riddle one more time. 4 cars come to a 4-way stop, each coming from a different direction. They can't decide who got there first, so they all go forward at the same time. All 4 cars go, but none crash into each other. How is this possible? The number's 256-505-0885. Oh, I've got my caller. Stay on the phone line with me while I start this next song, and let me get that answer. See if we can get you on out to Lake Winnepesaukah. Here's Terrian with Big God. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm glad to hear it. I'm doing all right. I can't complain. So, Carol, what has God done in your life lately?
He's given me people and things that I've listened to lately that have encouraged me to be more of an encourager to others.
Wow.
And I feel just pumped up this morning. First day of school for us.
All right. So back into the swing of things. I know it takes a little while to acclimate, but I think it's going to be a good year. Are you feeling it?
I am feeling it.
Awesome. All right. So let's see if we can get this first of the school year kicked off right with some passes to Lake Winnie. I've got a question here for you. 4 cars come to a 4-way stop, each coming from a different direction. They can't decide who got there first, so they all go forward at the same time. All 4 cars go, but none crash into each other. How is this possible?
They all took a right-hand turn.
That's exactly right. Congratulations. You just won. That's the first time I got that response. Give it to me one more time.
Yeehaw!
That's awesome. All right. Well, I am going to get this family 4-pack sent to you. Carol, thank you so much for making us part of your day. It really means a lot.
Well, y'all make my day every day. I love listening to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll get them sent your way.
Thank you so much.
And that's how it's done. Carol Godsey, congratulations to you for winning that Lake Winnie Family 4-pack. It's always a lot of fun giving stuff away here on the radio. Now, stick around. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about between now and 10 o'clock. I hope that you'll continue listening. If you have to step away from your radio, don't worry. You can still tune us in on your smart device. Just go to our website, 885jfm.com. Click that On Now button, press play, and you are good to go. I was watching social media and I stumbled upon this expert wife tip. And I'm like, really? Ladies, you would do something like this? Stick around and find out what it was. Guys, I had no idea they would even think of doing this. An idle mind can come up with some pretty creative things. Some things that'll actually get you in trouble. I found that out the hard way when I was in college. Yeah. So me and a bunch of my friends, well, we thought we'd prank this guy, right? Now, this guy I'm talking about, his name was Matt. And Matt had this beautiful Dodge Charger. I mean, this thing was just immaculate, right? And we thought, well, we're going to mess with Matt. So what did we do? I mean, one of the things we did, it was pretty harmless. Got some Vaseline and put it underneath the door handles on his car. Among a few other things, there might have been saran wrap involved. Anyway, he got pretty agitated about that. And he got, ticked off. It was bad. It was not a good prank. It did not turn out the way that we expected it to. Anyway, it took us a while to live that down and to gain his trust back. But, that's what happens. Sometimes you prank people. Well, when you're in a relationship, who better to prank than your significant other? Yeah, except sometimes it's done out of pure meanness, isn't it? Came across this over on the socials and I thought, no, surely this is not actually happening. Wives, you wouldn't do this to your husbands, would you?
Expert wife tip. If your husband ever makes you mad or just gets on your nerves, pour a little oil under his truck.
Are you kidding?
This will keep him busy for hours as he tries to figure out where the leak is coming from.
I spent 3 hours under there last night.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that. That would be infuriating. Oh, where'd that leak come from again? So, ladies, we're on to you now. Don't even think about using that tactic anymore. Well, hey, just a few minutes ago, I talked a little bit about how you wives can prank your husbands. Yeah, and now we're on to you on that particular tactic. So if you missed that, you can catch it on the podcast after the show. But coming up, I want to talk about something that kind of began as a little bit of a prank that turned into something really cool, and it was very unexpected. You just never know how things are going to turn out, and I think you're going to love this story, so stick around, and we'll talk about it next. Every now and then, you just feel like doing something out of the ordinary, and there's no real reason for it. You just do it. But then it becomes something you weren't expecting at all. I came across this comment. This guy says, "My strangest legacy. In high school, for one reason or another, I can't remember, my friends and I wrote 34 days until March 2nd on the whiteboard in the drama classroom. It was completely arbitrary, but we kept it up. 30 days until March 2nd. 23 days until March 2nd. As the days went on, it spread around enough that the entire school is buzzing about what is going to happen on March 2nd. We figured we should think of something and decide to bring in cake. There were about 13 of us in total committed to bringing a cake. So on March 2nd, during third period lunch, we all entered the cafeteria in a line, the parade of the cakes, and laid them out. A grand cake buffet for everyone in that lunch period. We did it the next year, and after we graduated, it kept going. This past March, on the 2nd, it was the 9th year they've done it. It's become a school-sponsored event. There are t-shirts for this thing every year. March 2nd is Cake Day. How cool is that? It was just something they thought up, and they just kind of flew by the seat of their pants. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, hey, we started this. I think we need to make it something more, and then it turned into Cake Day, and it's still celebrated at their high school. How neat is that? I love it. I just wanted to share it with you. There's good news. A lot of great stuff happening in this world. I'm glad that I get to share it with you right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. All right, more great music ready for you. I got Austin French and Jesus Can right here on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. You ever get so busy you just can't stand it? I came across this story. This is from April Allred. She said, "Everywhere I look, there's something that needs to be done. I need to make dinner, but before I can do that, I need to clean off the counter, which means the piles of dishes next to the sink need to go into the sink. But wait, there isn't any room for them because it's already full of, you guessed it, dishes. I could put them in the dishwasher, but that needs to be unloaded first, and then I see the handprints all over it, and I'm reminded I need to dig out the stainless steel cleaner to clean the front of it along with the fridge. And if I do the fridge, I need to pull all the papers stuck to it. And frankly, I'm not entirely sure what to do with them. It's why I stuck them on the fridge in the first place. Everywhere I look, there's something that needs to be dusted, mopped, picked up, or put away. But nothing can get done until something else gets done first. And all of it's getting done one-handed while balancing a baby. All while listening to the shouts of, 'Mom, watch this!' And no, a simple glance won't suffice. This needs rapt, undivided attention for the 5th time. It's like mom life is some alternate version of If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, but instead of being a whimsical children's book, it's an anxiety-inducing nightmare. The frustrating part is that this isn't me. Not even a little bit. I am a struggling perfectionist, though you wouldn't know this by looking at me because I present as a hot mess. If it's within my control, I need it to be perfect. If there's a goal to be achieved, I'm going to overachieve it, and I'm going to do it all at once. No interruptions, no stops, no breaks. Get it done is my mentality. So the fact that I can't keep my house perfectly tidy consumes me. I can always see my visual to-do list. When I'm sitting on the floor playing Go Fish with my son, I'm looking at the dust on the baseboards that needs to be wiped down. And then I think about the back of the bathroom cupboard that needs to be organized and wiped out. And of course, whatever clothes my son has left by the tub needs to be washed. Oh, and that means I need to face my mountain of laundry, which might overtake Everest as the world's highest peak. One thing leads to another, and I can never keep up. I can never do it perfectly, and I can never start a job and finish it without interruption, so why start at all? And the beauty of the story is, that's just the start. There's a second part where she finds a little bit of a breakthrough. I want you to stick around and hear what it is. It might just help you, Mom. Just a couple minutes ago, we started hearing a story from April Allred about how she just feels overwhelmed with all the stuff that needs to be done. In fact, the title of this whole thing is Everywhere I Look, There's Something That Needs to Be Done. Have you ever felt that way? Just completely taken aback by all the stuff that needs to be, cleaned, needs to be fixed, needs to be put away, needs to be organized, and the list goes on and on. On top of that, you've got all the chaos and all the ups and downs and the twists and turns of the roller coaster of life. Right? It's like, why can't everything just be calm for a little while? I understand. And April, well, she's kind of bummed out because she's like, I don't even want to start tackling this stuff because I know I can't finish it like I want to. But that's the part that really gets you, is like you want to. So let's pick up with the second part of her story. It's going to make a lot of sense. It might even help you out, Mom. Take a listen. It's a tough cycle, one I want to break, and I think I just had a breakthrough. Thanks to the kindest human ever with something that sounds so simple it's ridiculous that it was groundbreaking for me. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be peaceful. The crayons don't need to be put away in a show-stopping rainbow gradient, they just need to be put away in their multicolored chaotic glory. The shoes on the shoe rack don't need to be put away Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear style, all nice and neat on their own shelf. They just need to be on the shelf and out of the entryway. I don't have to do all the laundry in one day. A basket a day is probably enough to keep us all smelling nice and in clean clothes. Just breathe. Take care of the one thing that's destroying your peace of mind most, and then walk away. My house, your house, is meant to be a peaceful place to live, not a perfect place for strangers to parade through and view. Peaceful over perfect. Good enough is enough. What do you think about that? Wow, it takes a lot of the stress off, doesn't it? Hey, keep up the good work. You're doing an amazing job, regardless of how messy things get. You are doing what you need to do to make sure that your family is taken care of. You bring so much to the table. I just want to let you know that you are appreciated. Keep it up, Mom. Often it's the little things that make the biggest difference. How could just a kind compliment change somebody's day today? Well, stick around. I want to share a story about just that from our friend over in Hampton, South Carolina. Yeah, he's a pastor of a church, and he's got a really cool story to share with you. Just the right word at just the right time is all it takes to get you out of a bad mood and into a much better one. You know what I mean? You ever been there before? Of course you have. Well, let's talk a little bit about it, shall we? Let's get a little help from our friend over in Hampton, South Carolina. His name is Brian Trent. He pastors the Lighthouse Church there, and he is all over the socials. I found him on TikTok. He goes by the handle Trent Tribe. It's him and his whole family. He's always bringing awesome content to the platform, and I love sharing some of it with you. Now, this has to do with just that small word, just a compliment, just a phrase, just a little something that goes such a long way. Well, it really did in his case. Here, see what you think about this story. It might inspire you to be a little more, well, liberal with your words.
You know, sometimes it's just a simple word that keeps us going. See, a few months back, I was going through a tough time with some pastoral stuff. And I hadn't said much, but just to a few people. And then one day, the phone rang. You know, sometimes you just need that one phone call from that right person. It was my good friend Jack. Jack is 96 years old, and not only is he a World War II veteran, but him and his wife Frances and a few other families back in the 70s founded the church that I pastor. Matter of fact, they started meeting the same year I was born. But now he lives about 2 hours away with his son, and sadly his wife Frances passed away about a year and a half ago. They had been married 74 years. And Jack rarely calls me, but I'm sure glad he did. And when he called, he had no idea what was going on. And when he called, he told me, he said, I just wanted to call you and let you know how much I love you and how proud I am of you and how glad I am that you are the pastor at Lighthouse Church. He had no idea how much I needed to hear that in a moment I needed a lot of encouragement. It was like God himself actually picked up the phone and called me, and his voice sounded like Jack's. Ecclesiastes 8:4 says, where the word of the king is, there is power. And every single believer has the privilege of speaking the words of the king. Proverbs 18 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. It's like you and I have superpowers or something. You and I have the power to speak life into somebody today. So we shouldn't hold back. Your words may be the very breath someone needs to resuscitate them and get them back where they need to be. Your words may be the very life they needed to keep going. So don't hold back.
Let that inspire you to use your words to encourage somebody today. Help make their day better. Here's Josh Baldwin with Stand in Your Love, right here on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. A lot of great things happen in our classrooms across our area. I want to talk about one of them next. Do you have 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to devote to doing one thing today? If so, you might just brighten your kids' day for weeks to come. Because, you know, they're back in school now, most of them anyway. Some haven't started quite yet, but soon everybody will be back in the swing of things, and the school year will get underway. And you know it's something your kids are going to need, those pencils, right? So, you've already done the school supply stuff. I understand. You got all the pencils that they need, but here's a little something extra you could do. And it's really brought to light by Amanda Cox. She's a teacher. She says, today I was running low on pencils, so I asked all my kids to pull out any of my pencils that they had in their desks. I had one student ask me if he could keep his pencils that his mom gave him for school. Of course, I said yes. He then said, well, I guess I'll give you a few so my classmates can have them too. I thought nothing of it and took the pencils that he handed me. When I was sharpening them, I noticed writing on a few of them. I then realized that my student's mother took the time to write on his pencils. I asked him if he would mind showing me the rest of them. What I read melted my heart. They all had these little phrases like, you are so talented. This will be a great year. You are creative. You are phenomenal. Never give up. You can do this. You are knowledgeable. You are a math whiz. You are intelligent. Proud of you every day. I love you. You have a brilliant mind. You are wonderful. You are a problem solver. Follow your dreams. You are perfect. I'm proud of you. You will change the world. You are amazing. You are the best. And finally, you are important. This probably took his mom a few minutes to do, yet it lit up his whole day at school. He wasn't embarrassed that his mom wrote on his pencils. Thanks to his mom, he was reminded of his self-worth and wanted to share the same feeling with his classmates. These are the things that we should be reminding our kids as parents and teachers. Imagine the look on a child's face when they're reminded that they are important, talented, loved, knowledgeable, and so much more. Help them know that someone believes in them and is proud of them and everything they do. Even if you think it's cheesy or you don't have enough time or you think it won't have much impact, remember that you may be the only one telling and reminding them these things, and every kid needs to know their value. So, do you have 5 minutes to write on your kids' pencils today? Oh, wow. This one got me. I loved it. So I have difficulty throwing away things sometimes. I don't know. It's like, will I need this in the future? Well, let me tell you, specifically, in my desk drawer in our third bedroom, which is really not big enough to be a bedroom, it's more like an office, right? In the back of that drawer, there's a stack, and they're stacked sideways, of old cell phones that we've used over our life together, me and my wife. And I'm telling you, I got flip phones in there, I've got straight phones, I've got all kinds of phones. And the reason why I keep them is because there are precious memories on those memory cards inside the phones, all these pictures that we've taken over the years. Eventually, I'd love to be able to get those photos and put them on a hard drive somewhere. But let's be honest, likely the batteries are shot. They're not going to turn back on. So why am I keeping them around? Well, I just found a new excuse. There's this kid from Plano, Texas, who just happened to have a relic. Now you can think of it as a relic sitting on his shelf, an unopened Christmas gift that just paid off big time. It'll have you searching for this particular device, I guarantee you. Stick around and hear what it was. So my home office desk drawer is a treasure trove full of memories, photos, right? Actual photos, flash drives, cassette tapes, videotapes, CDs, DVDs, you get it. It's a treasure trove to me, but it's probably just junk to anybody else. Chief amongst the items in that drawer are two of those scientific calculators that we had to use in high school math class. You know, the Texas Instrument kind, because we were told we needed these. And on top of that, hey, we didn't need to use calculators in the future because nobody'd have a calculator. Well, they're there on my drawer. I just happen to have a calculator on my cell phone. It's with me every day now. So, Anyway, besides those two calculators, sorry about that soapbox, I have probably 6 or so old cell phones. And they're important to me because of the photos that we've taken with them. I haven't gotten all of them off and put them on a hard drive. I need to get around to doing that, but I haven't yet. I wonder if you have old tech lying around. Maybe in a closet, on a shelf. Yeah? Let me tell you about this kid. All right, so back in 2001, his parents decided to get him the first iPod. That's right. They went to the Apple store, they purchased it, they brought it home, they gave it to their kid as a Christmas gift. He never opened it. It sat on a shelf. Then it got transferred to a closet. And recently, he had gone back home. His dad had passed away, and while he was cleaning up things in the house that he grew up in, he found this old iPod, still in the original packaging. And he got to thinking, I wonder what this is worth. Oh, that thing just sold on an auction site. Now, this thing went for $29,000. You heard that right. $29,000 for this first edition iPod from Apple. Now, yes, it was in pristine condition. It sat on a shelf for more than 2 decades, but my goodness. Wow, that's a chunk of change, $29,000. So anyway, I just wanted to throw it out there. You never know what kind of valuables might be hidden away, and they might just be in a junk drawer. So you might want to go look. Do you have one of those classic first edition iPods? Yeah. Well, if it's not in the original packaging, it probably won't bring $29,000, but still, it could be worth some major money. I'm just saying. Might want to check those drawers. As I close out the show today, I want to leave you with a final thought. It's today's inspiring quote, which said, "Hope is patience with the lamp lit." That's right. It is. It's being patient. You're holding out hope for something to happen. You know, sometimes the patience that we have to have is with ourselves. Yeah, Jesse said it in a really cool way. I want you to hear it from him.
One thing that I've done that's really helped me is instead of thinking in terms of day to day, I think of things weekly. Let me give you an example. Instead of thinking, I'm gonna run 5 miles every day this week, I'm gonna write 10 pages of my book every single day this week. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write 10 pages. Inevitably, things happen. Your kids get hurt, you have to go to the doctor, an appointment happens, and you miss days. So I started looking at things weekly. I'm gonna run 35 miles this week. I'm gonna write 50 pages this week. We're human. It allows for human error, and I can now make it up. If I miss a day, it's not the end of the world. If I tell myself I'm gonna run every day, and I miss a day, I'm like, I lost. I didn't succeed, I failed. And if I give myself that leeway, because I didn't run yesterday or today, I do have a weekly goal, I'm just gonna pick it up the next 2 or 3 days.